When you look at what separates the good from the truly great, it isn't just about talent or luck, right? It's consistency. And yeah, it sounds so simple, but we all know it's one of the hardest things to actually get a handle on. I mean, have you ever started something new? A project, a workout plan, maybe a new habit. And for that first week, you are just on fire. You're unstoppable. But then, what happens? That initial spark kind of fizzles out. Suddenly, just showing up feels like a massive chore. Look, it's a struggle we all face, but here's the good news, it's totally solvable. So, how do we actually do it? Well, that's what we're here to break down. We're going to walk through a really simple but powerful blueprint. Think of this as your personal guide to building a system for consistency that doesn't just run on fumes of willpower or that motivation that disappears when you need it most. Okay, so before we even get into the what to do every day, we've got to start with the most important piece of the puzzle, your mindset. This is the foundation, right? Everything else gets built on top of this. And if this part isn't solid, even the best plans in the world are just going to fall apart. And here's the absolute core of it. You have to know why you're even doing this in the first place. And I'm not just talking about the end goal, like losing 10 pounds. I mean the deep, personal reason behind the goal. Because that why, that's your emergency power. It's what you tap into on those days when it's cold, you're tired, and you'd literally rather do anything else. Okay, now this is a huge one. It looks like a simple change in words, but it is a massive psychological shift. See, saying I want to be consistent is all about chasing some future outcome. But when you start saying I am a consistent person, whoa, that's totally different. That becomes part of your identity. You're not just doing a thing anymore, you are the thing. And trust me, that changes everything. All right, so we've got the mental foundation poured and set. Now, let's get practical. How do we take that inner game and actually turn it into something we do every day? This next part is all about building the engine, the system that makes being consistent feel almost automatic. And here it is. This is the engine of consistency in 4 steps. And it's so important to see this not as a checklist, but as a reinforcing cycle. This is how you prove to yourself that you are that consistent person. You start ridiculously small, then you build a simple routine around it. You track your progress so you can see it, and you reward the effort, not the result, to make your brain want to do it again. Each step just fuels the next one, and that's how you build real momentum. And this is just so important. We think consistency means these huge, heroic efforts every day. It's not. It's all about the compounding power of tiny, almost invisible actions. Seriously, 1 push-up is infinitely better than 0. Writing 1 sentence is better than a blank page. The only goal, especially at the beginning, is just to show up. So why is tracking such a big deal? It's simple. It gives you proof. It makes your effort real. It takes this abstract idea of being consistent and turns it into a physical chain of wins. Every single time you put a check mark on your calendar, you're sending a signal to your brain that says, see, I did the thing. I am who I say I am. That visual proof, man, it becomes its own motivation. Okay, so you've got the mindset, you've got the system running, you're doing great. But life happens, right? The world is designed to knock you off course. So this last part is all about building your defenses. It's about protecting the progress you fought so hard to make. And these safeguards are absolutely critical. First up, you have to protect your focus. That means getting rid of distractions. Be ruthless about it. Second, you've got to protect your momentum. A slip-up is going to happen. It's not the end of the world. The rule is never miss twice. Just get back to it the next day. And third, you protect your mindset by being around other consistent people. Their energy and discipline, it's contagious. Okay, I really want to pause on this for a second, because this might be the single most important lesson in this entire thing. We have this idea that we need to wait for motivation to strike. We wait to feel inspired. But here's the truth. Motivation is a terrible boss. It's unreliable, it shows up when it wants, and disappears without warning. And that's the punchline, the real secret. You just show up anyway. That's discipline. And discipline is what gets it done. The pros, the people who are truly great at what they do, they don't rely on feelings. They show up no matter what, because they know that action creates motivation, not the other way around. Let me say that again. Action creates motivation. And this connects right back to that idea of forgiving yourself when you slip up. Look, the goal is not to have a perfect, unbroken chain for the rest of your life. That's just not realistic for a human being. The real goal is persistence. You missed a workout today? Fine, it happens. But you absolutely do not miss tomorrow. Getting back on track immediately, that is what builds unstoppable consistency. So, let's pull all this together. What's the big idea here? It's that this isn't really just about building better habits. It's about building a new identity. It's about becoming a new version of yourself, one small action at a time. The best part is, this isn't magic. It's not something you're either born with or you're not. Consistency is a skill, and just like any other skill, you can learn it. Just remember the 3 parts of the blueprint: a solid foundation, that's your why and your identity, a daily system to put it into practice, and smart safeguards to protect your progress. And I want to leave you with this thought because it's so powerful. Raw talent, yeah, it's impressive, but it's also totally unreliable. The person who just shows up day in and day out will, over time, absolutely crush the talented person who only puts in the work when they feel like it. That, right there, is the truth about long-term success. Which brings us right down to the final, most important question. Not for tomorrow, not for next week, for right now. Today. What is the one tiny, almost ridiculously small thing you can do to start building that consistent identity? Whatever your answer is, that's where this whole journey really begins.